Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Vertiz, and today I'm going to show you guys how to draw an Dia de los Muertos inspired Frida Kahlo. First, we're going to start off with a blank piece of paper. With the blank page, we're going to go ahead and fold it in half along the dotted lines that you see here. So it's going to come out with these lines, and then with your pencil, you're going to go ahead and make a line from the top of the page to the bottom. We're going to place our three fingers from the top of our page, and we're going to put a dot underneath it. And then, as if you were to fold the paper in half like a hamburger, you would put the second dot next to it. And if you can just look at, across from it, you're going to put a second dot. Well, there's a third dot. And then at the very end of it, the first dot that you put that was right in the middle, you're going to follow it down, and then you're going to put two dots on the side of it, maybe about a half, maybe a quarter inch from that center. Then what we're going to do next is we're going to connect the dots. So starting from your very first dot at the top, you're going to make a somewhat like if you're doing a circle. So you see if I've already done mine. And so what you do on one side, you're going to have to do to the other. So you're going to go ahead and do that. So now it looks like a semicircle or half a circle. From this point, we're going to connect this dot to the bottom part. And this is what it's going to look like once you do both sides. Now, if you notice, I put a line straight down the middle from the very first point. And then what I did next was I went ahead and reshaped the face to make it look more like a skeleton on the left side. And then I also added an ear. Now, the way I did it was I went to the second dot near the page, and I went ahead and did like a semicircle, and then I did a smaller one within that circle. The following step now is I went ahead and went over all of our lines that we drew in pencil, and I went over it in marker. And that's just to highlight what you've done thus far. And I've also added a nose, and that was the purpose of the line that I put earlier. The line is to help distinguish between the right side of the face and the left side. So the right side is going to be like a plain fleshy face, and then on the left side is going to be more like the skeleton side. So the first thing we're gonna do now, after we've outlined all of it in marker and we've added our nose, we're going to go ahead and put in Frida's eyebrows. And she was really known for her unibrow. So I'm just gonna take a line here and just draw it out on both sides. Doesn't really have to be too perfect. You can make them out into where they meet in the middle, and you can just color it in with your marker. Next, we're gonna put in her eye that gets closed. So it's just gonna be like a semicircle starting maybe about a half an inch away from or a quarter inch from the nose. And then you're just gonna do like a semicircle kind of upwards. And if you want, you can make it look like she has a wing. And then next, we're gonna add the mouth, just half of the mouth. So I just went ahead and did like you have your mouth, did it all the way down, and then I added the line in the middle so that you can part the lips. And then I went and highlighted all of that also in marker. Okay, so I went ahead and drew the teeth. Now, the way I did it was I followed the line that I made for the lips, and I followed it all the way to right about here. And then I came in and I actually first started with the bottom. So I turned my paper around and I used the line as my guide. So I started here from this line here as well that I made. And I just went over it in pencil first. And then I stopped right where this line would have stopped, which is right here. Okay. Now I know this tooth looks kind of funky, but we're going to fix it later. And then at the bottom, I just did another line. and it follows sort of the same pattern. And then it's going to extend to right about here, kind of where like the other part of the smile would have been. Okay. And now that I still have it upside down, I started with the top part here. So I'll start here, and I just went around and try to match it. Now the top teeth are always a little bit bigger than the bottom teeth. And then from here, come down. And you'll follow that same pattern like that. That's not going to be perfect. And then you just kind of curve it out and meet this point to this point. And then all I did was I traced it with black Sharpie. Okay. Now we're going to go move on to the eye. So I'm going to turn her around. Okay. This is a closed eye. And so what I'm going to do on this side is I'm just going to draw a circle. And I'm going to first do it with pencil because you can always erase pencil. So I'm going to start here. And that's one part of it. And I don't know if you can see this, but here I just drew a loop. And this is actually going to be black, and we'll show you that later on in the video. But from here, you can do your flower for the eye socket. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be perfect. And you can do another one however you want to do it. Okay? And for the rest of it, because this part, as I've mentioned before, is the flesh part of Frida Kahlo. And this is going to be her skeleton, like Dia de los Muertos. And when it comes to this side, you can be as creative as you want to be. So you can do a long, I'm going to go ahead and just do my little circle here. And I think I'm just going to do a big enough flower here. Okay. And then I can do dots. I can do another smaller flower here. You know, you get to design this however you want. This side. It's up to you. So that's more of the creative portion of it. Now the next step was we're going to come down to this part. Now this is going to be a little trickier since one side is a skeleton. So we're just going to start with our right side. So this line here, I'm just going to go ahead and extend it down just a little bit, just so that I know. And me, I like to draw lines that I can erase with pencil because I can erase them later, and then you can look at the final product afterwards. So I'm going to start here. And this is going to be the basis for my neck. Okay, and we're just working on the right side. So let's scoot this up a little bit. So see there. And if I have to, I'm going to just go off the shoulder and do kind of a... It looks kind of weird and it looks kind of funky, but that's okay. And of course, she always has something to wear, so we're going to kind of do it like that. And we'll draw on some designs like she would be wearing something. And then for this side, it's going to be a little different. So normally, and you and I can do this together, we're going to do this, we're going to kind of do the same thing on this side. And I'll show you why in a little bit. So we're going to come here and try not to make it so sharp. Just kind of curve it. And then we're just gonna okay. And with every piece of clothing. You're just going to follow the lines. Now, it's not going to be even because this side's going to be a skeleton. So there's not going to be any meat there for the clothes to actually hold. So we're just going to follow our lines or connect them. Okay. So that's one portion. All right. Next, I'm going to use this as a guide and this as a guide. These two lines here are going to be my little guide. And so the first step, I'm going to go ahead and just draw 3 squares. And then on the side, so now I can erase this line and this line right here. Just right there, because now I'm going to want to do a sort of like a rectangular shape. Okay? It's going to look kind of like that. And that's supposed to be like the spine. Okay? And that's your collarbone. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trace it over with my black marker. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off with her earring. So the first thing you're going to do is just draw a circle. And then off to the side, you're going to draw an oval, a second oval. Then from this part to this part is going to be a rectangle. Okay. Then you will draw 2 lines towards the middle. And then from here, you're going to draw a big circle. Okay. And in the middle of this circle, you're going to draw a small circle. And then around the small circle, you're going to do an outside one. Now here's the fun part. Okay? You're going to take it and you're going to kind of do it in 4 parts. And then you're going to split those parts in 2. Next part, you see where this line is? You're going to draw a circle underneath it. And then you're going to draw a bigger circle. And then the last one's going to be like an oval shape. On this side, where this line is, you're going to do the same thing. A small circle, a bigger circle, and then an oval shape. On this side, same thing. Circle, big circle, an oval. And turn your earring. Okay. All right. So the next part after putting in the earring is the flowers on Frida's head. So I started with any type of flower pattern, or I should say outline. And then I went ahead and did a second one next to her. As you can see, I already marked it out with marker. And what I've done to one side of her head, I'm going to go ahead and do on the other side. And that's where you get the 4 flowers. Now, these 4 flowers can be any shape that you want them to be. They don't have to be exactly like mine. You can do 2 flowers, you can do 3 flowers. It's up to you. And then the final step into creating the Frida Kahlo portrait is her hair. Now, in this video, it doesn't show that she has flowers, and I just want you to get a sense of how to do her hair. So you're gonna start with just basic semicircles, or I would say like oval shapes. But when once your flowers are there, you're just gonna draw the lines into it ends at the flowers, and you're gonna do that until it looks like she's got four different piles of hair. And then on the farthest one, you're gonna add a little swirl on it to make it look like her hair has been rolled up. And then that's it. You've created your Frida cowl. Your only other step to do is to color it however you want. It could be as creative as you want it to be. Of course, the fleshy side has to be like a natural skin tone. And just enjoy yourself being creative with this drawing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.